Hello friends, if you are here for all things glittery and gold, you are going to love today's project. I'm going to make a scrapbook layout for you today, and it is a special video because this one is part of a collaboration with my crafty friends over on the creative design team. We're celebrating Christmas in July. I'm trying to reach my vellum over here. It does not, it's being camera shy. Come on, vellum. Okay, so this is the Seasons of Green and Gold. We've got the Golden Greenery stamp and die set, and then the Graceful Greenery Vellum. I'm a huge fan of Vellum, and look at that. So you could do so many different things. This could be wintry pages, Christmas, or all sorts of different projects. It's just a very cool texture. So you have those, two of those, and then I want you to think of these as embellishments. Tons of embellishments. So you can use these as paper. I've seen people do, like if you do a December daily, you can have vellum dividers in there too, just to have a nice, fun, interactive, beautiful piece of patterned vellum. So, but why I want you to think of these as embellishments is because, as you know, the dies coordinate with the pattern paper and the vellum. So when I have too many to fit on one sheet inside, I will put them in an envelope and go front to back. But these dies cut out these shapes here. And why is that not lining up? Must be backwards. So we have the pine boughs without snow, so great for summertime camping, hiking, different things you want to do. And then you have the snow version for skiing or winter, Christmas, maybe you like to cross-country ski or you're out building a snowman and have some fun winter memories. And then there are sprigs dies that cut out these as well. So that's the vellum version, and then there's the same pattern in the regular version. So lots of embellishments, no shortage of things to tuck in. So you can see here they have and do you see the gold foiling on there? It's catching the light. Very, very, very pretty. So before someone asks, you can buy the die set separately, and they're standalone sprigs. So you've got these will cut out from just cardstock. You don't need to stamp anything. You've got pine bough, greenery sprigs, and then this is kind of like a eucalyptus, different foliage. And then the outline dies are what cut out the pattern paper or the stamp set. So I always get the stamp set because eventually you will use up the pattern paper. And there's bells in this one too. So you have the stamping, layered stamping for the bells, or this die cuts out the single bells. So not these, you'd have to fussy cut those, but more embellishments in the pattern paper here. So I'll quickly go through these and then we'll jump in and get started. And they're all double-sided. You get two of each. One side has, gold foiling, and then you have the greenery on the opposite side. So that's one set. This one is absolutely stunning. If you have not gone over and watched Julie's video, she has created some stunning layouts. I mean, truly works of art. They're so pretty and festive and just really have me inspired to create. So this one's really cool. I wish I had a few more of these because I feel torn. I almost want to use them on, and I still might, outdoor, like summertime. It's just kind of, I think this would go so well to document my son mountain biking because that's up in the trees and it's just kind of rugged. And then this is the opposite side. Again, you can cut these out for embellishments. And then you have a lovely plaid, also great for any season of outdoor activity or boy pages. That's the opposite side of the bells. I'm getting distracted here. And more gold foil pattern, very tiny pattern, which is nice for mixing and matching. That's the opposite side of that one. And then you have more to cut out. The opposite side is this nice green, so another one good for all type of seasonal outdoor stuff. And then a nice little polka dot, and then you have this one with the gold foiling. Isn't that gorgeous? Very, very pretty. I'm so inspired. I receive frequent inquiries regarding these mats, and unfortunately they're no longer in production. You can see they're a Close to My Heart branded product. I don't have any additional, and I haven't found anything quite like them. Stampin' Up! Does offer a glass mat. It's actually a brand new product, and I know several of my crafty friends do enjoy working on glass mats. I've never tried it because I have these and I do like them. so I can't personally recommend it, but I know my friend Katie loves her glass mat. It's easy to clean up, and they do have the measurement marks on them, so that could be something you might want to look at and see if it might be a good fit for you. But yeah, I wish I had had the foresight to have bought a bunch of Versamats, but unfortunately I did not. I just put down white paper for scaffolding. You won't actually see the white. I'm just using it so I can preserve my pattern paper and just have something to adhere it to. So I have 5 photos. These are 4x6, and then we have 3x4s, and this is from several Christmases ago. Like I said, I'm behind, but it's family pictures around the Christmas tree. So I've got my whole family here and a few of my dogs. You can see them kind of peeking out in the back there. And my husband and I, there's myself with the boys. One of Hayden, he was just giving me kind of this awkward, cheesy smile. So I thought that was a good one. And then my in-laws. So what I'm actually following a layout from close to my heart that I did several years ago. I've got my scrapbook open to the side of my desk. And I think I'm going to do something like this, and then I can use this spot for journaling or embellishments. If you have a 4th photo that you wanted to include, you can make a grid, but it's basically going to be something like that. Let me set these off to the side for now. So as you can see, there is a lot of gold in the warm lights, and I think it's going to look really beautiful with the gold in this, the gold foiling in the paper. We do have some accents of red, but otherwise, you know, you have a lot of green, traditional Christmas colors. So what I'm thinking is having a strip on the top and bottom. Since I have my 2 photos, you know, in the center here, I could do a frame style layout. And like I said, I do have an inspiration piece I'm working off of. I have a vanilla square that is 10 and, let me see, yeah, 10 1/4 square, and I will trim. I'm just kind of looking for now to see what papers I want to use, because I have an inspiration layout, but it's totally different papers. So I think I want this one like this. And I want a piece of pattern paper peeking out, going across like a strip here. So we've got different options. We could use our little polka dots. Those are cute, kind of going around the bottom. And I will matte this in a darker color. So that's an option. We have our plaid. You always have to look and see what's on the other side. So sometimes you want to save those for a different project or possibly use them for embellishments. I do like the plaid. This can be a very formal paper if you want it to, and the plaid kind of brings that back down to a little bit more, adds in that casual touch, right? So we have this with the little sparklies. You wouldn't want to do like leaf on leaf. I think that that's too busy, and there's not enough you know, variation in the paper to make that work, at least for me anyway. So I don't like how I've got, this is close to my heart, vanilla, and it's just too different. I don't like those right next to each other. So I think that we are going to use the plaid. And you know what, like I said, it works. It adds a touch of kind of country casual, and that's what we are. We're all, you know, plaid shirts, and our house is kind of country casual. So I think that that's going to be a good choice. All right, I've got my heading. I'm going to go ahead and cut these down, and I'll be right back. I cut down 4 equal sections of 3 inches by 12 inches, and my base of these layouts is going to be symmetrical, so I decided on 3 inches because that will, I can get all of the pieces I need from one sheet of pattern paper. So these are going to sit at the top and bottom. And then I went with 6 inches because, again, I just cut it in half, and then I could use 1 inch pieces here. These are going to fill this space on the inside and outside edges, and then we will bring in our base paper here. Grab that, and then, like I said, I do want to matte this in a darker color, so I need to decide on what would be best. I'm thinking maybe pine. Again, I don't have all the cardstock colors from Stampin' Up, so there's lots of different greens in here. You have darker greens and lighter greens, so there's really a lot of options to work with, and I think I'm going to go with pine because I want it a darker color, so it really adds some separation between the patterns. I did go ahead and gut out the back to preserve all of the pine cardstock I possibly can, and then I have little bitty 1/4 inch strips to finish off the transition between these two layers. So I will actually, let me just glue those down really quick. These are just little tiny scraps I trimmed to 1/4 inch by, at least an inch, so they're long enough to tuck under there. I always end up with a ton of green scraps. It's a color I use quite a bit, but those scraps come in handy for cutting things like little greenery sprigs, so I always hang on to those. So as I mentioned, these are family photos of us gathered around the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. And I am so thankful that I started taking the time to be intentional about taking these photos, because I would just get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of, what's going on Christmas, and forget to take photos and be really sad about it after the fact. I want to select one of these pattern papers to mount my photos so they, we bring in some color and they pop off of the background. Let's see what this one looks like. You know what? I like the darker one better. I was going to use that paper for my son, but I guess I'll just have to get another pack, right? I'm sure I could put this to good use for Christmas cards, and a second pack will not be wasted. So I'm bringing in a piece for the opposite side to house these photos, and then we're ready for the embellishments. I went ahead and cut a whole bunch of the sprigs. Now these I cut from gold foil paper, so you can see them there. There's the two different types. There's this one, and then you have the one that looks kind of like a eucalyptus leaf, and then a large pine sprig. There's a couple of those, and I actually really appreciate it because they were designed going in opposite directions. I mean, you can always flip them over, but there is kind of a right side to a die cut that has a nicer finish. So it is really nice that you have, pine boughs going in a couple different directions. And then I cut some from the pattern paper. So this is chopped off because that was the edge of the pattern paper, the piece of 12 by 12 paper, and I always utilize those because you're tucking them under something anyway, so it's okay if it doesn't have the little tip there. And then I have some more sprigs. Some of them I was working on some other projects, so there's cut into bits and pieces there. And then you can see I also did some of the pattern paper. These two are pattern paper, and I die cut those. And then this is the vellum version. So you can see they're a little bit different. The vellum has like a softer little translucency to it. This one's a little bit more vibrant because of that white background. And then it also has the gold, but I think they'll be nice to kind of mix and match. So tons of different sprigs to work with. I'm going to be pulling in some things for my stash also. I think I've got a couple stamp sets I've pulled out I thought might be fun to use, and a lot of them you probably have in your stash. Now with all of that greenery, I do want to bring in some pops of red because there's a lot of red in my Christmas tree. My husband's wearing a red plaid shirt. So I did make this title here from my stash. This is the Close to My Heart Merry Christmas Layers Thin Cuts. I've been seeing a lot of my crafty friends use this, and I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm going to put this one to work. So the back side is glitter paper. Can you see that? It's white glitter paper. And then I did the outline in candy apple red, and then the word Merry in red. So I'm thinking I could put Merry up here. I do want to make a little cluster there, or I could end up just putting the whole title underneath. I have a little bit of room because of the way I've staggered my photos. I could put Merry under there and then Christmas. So I do like that, and then maybe have a bunch of greenery, like a big swag. I'm kind of picturing like photos sitting up on a mantle with just greenery and garland supporting them underneath. It's always nice to create an assortment of die cuts and embellishments ahead of time because you don't always necessarily know what you're going to want. So by having a variety to choose from, I think it makes the embellishing process a little bit easier. Chances are you might have to die cut a few more, or maybe you'll have extra, but you will have them ready for the next project. So I know I want a swag coming, clusters coming out of either side of my Christmas title. I want a cluster all the way over on the right-hand side, and then one above my photo on the left-hand page. So here I'm using the sprigs and I'm switching them. So you'll notice I have the pine on the bottom on the left-hand side, and I put it on the right-hand side of the title. I don't necessarily want them to be carbon, little replica copies of each other. So I'm trying to vary things so they have a little bit more of an organic feel to them. Creating embellishment clusters is my favorite aspect of this layout design. It's like all the hard work is done of figuring out where the photos go and all the papers you want to use. Now it's just playtime, and it's a matter of moving things around until they fall into place and you're happy with the overall appearance of them. And sometimes that process can take, 30 minutes. Sometimes it can take 2 days, and that's okay. You're going to be looking at these pages for a long time and you want to be happy with it. So sometimes you do need to walk away and then just come back to them. I did go ahead and print my journaling out on vanilla cardstock, and I used a tag die to cut that out, and it was just kind of lost here by itself. So I often will cut 2 tags and stack them like this just to add a little character, and that brings in a little bit more of that red. I also have this whole tray that I use for my December dailies. So these are just projects, that I toss in here. I've got different things that, this way when I want to work on my December daily, I just kind of grab all these pre-cut sprigs and die cuts. I've got another red tag here. I was thinking, I want to kind of just distribute it around the page so we can always just tuck in a little tag up top. Maybe I'll find a word sentiment to kind of layer over the top of that. We could do that. And we need red over here. What if we just kind of tuck this tag in here a little bit? Maybe I could put 2 tags kind of sticking out the side. I just have the one for now, but this will kind of give us an idea of what that might look like. And I do like the red all the way over here. I think that definitely draws your eye. And we have this, a big section here we can add a bold embellishment cluster. So I still need something for this tag to make it a little bit more substantial. Now this is a leftover piece from this, and we could possibly use the gold to make a gold tag. That might be really pretty. We also have this pattern here. We could just make 2 tags. You know what? I like the one with more gold. I'm going to go ahead and cut a tag from this, and I'll be right back. I have these tag dies, and they are just always a go-to for me. Trends in scrapbooking come and go, but I don't think the tag shape will ever go. It's always going to be a thing for me. So I've got this red bow, and I spotted this ornament in here, and I love these. They kind of are designed to go together. I could put this bow up here. I have to kind of bump it up though, otherwise it's covering my text. So I'm thinking I want to use this. We could place that here, and I also have some smaller greenery sprigs that might be nice for adding in, and let me show you where these are from in case you have them in your stash. The ornament and the bow are from the Silver Bells Cardmaking workshop stamp, and then this one here, I love these, but I bought this for the sprigs and the pine cone. This is from the Evergreen collection. So these are more recent stamp sets from last season, so I know a lot of you have these in your stash. And I noticed when I grabbed this, I have a whole bunch of bows in here in different colors. I've got, I think that's rosemary. Yeah, that is rosemary, so I'm not introducing that color. That's candy apple. This one looks like scarlet, which is a little bit more, more of like a brownish red. So I'll tuck those back in there. And then we have this one we can use to top that little ornament if I use that. That's pretty cute. It's coming together. I want to create a small embellishment cluster above the tags here, so I'm using the tinier sprigs from my stash. I've got gold and pine, and the pine color's really blending in well with the background, so I don't know, I might need to switch those out for a different color cardstock. I want to make them as if they're originating from underneath the bow, so we're just kind of setting them in there to get an idea. Now I also have the bells on this pattern paper, so I did fussy cut out the pair of bells, and I love the gold shine on those. And I thought, well, we can add these possibly to the top of the tag. So let's see how that looks. You know, I don't love it. It's okay, but I think I like the red bow, the balance of the red bow, and of course that little pop of color. So let's go back to the original plan and we can try the bells elsewhere on the layout. Maybe over here. Sometimes, you know, there's too many things. We want to add them all onto the layout and it's easy to get carried away. But let's just swap out some of these elements and play. I know yesterday Andrea kicked off our week-long collaboration and created a project for you. So if you've not had a chance to check out her video, you definitely want to do that. Andrea is always full of wonderful and creative ideas. I will have her video listed in the description box below, along with all of the other creative design team members who will be, creating videos and sharing their project ideas with you every day for the rest of this week. Maybe you're not feeling the whole Christmas in July, but you can definitely use the ideas and swap out the papers to recreate the projects for yourself. I had a thought. My word Mary isn't showing up really well. It's not popping off of that green. I could bump it down. I definitely could do that. That'd be easy. But I'm wondering if a little vellum layer behind these photos might look really good, because that would help this to really pop off the background much better with the layer of white, and you can still see the green. So I'm going to spare you the process of me moving everything and just try that, and we'll see which one looks better. I decided I liked the vellum, so I just held the sheet under and liked the way it looked, so I went ahead and cut that down, and you'll notice I did leave a border of the green around the outside, so you still see the green through the vellum. There's that nice translucency, but I left the border so it better tied in with the paper over here, and I think it just tones it down. Vellum is so good for that, and also I just like the, that it makes my word Mary pop a little bit more. And then I was looking at these pine sprigs that I already had cut for my December daily supplies, and they were blending in too well, so I cut these from Evergreen, and you can see it's just a brighter color of green. This is also close to my heart green, and I thought I would try mixing those in. We've got our gold sprig, so we'll do a green and gold on one side, green on the other. Got to have my odd numbers, right? And I do like that. But then I cut a big one here from the Seasons of Green and Gold so that I had that color elsewhere. We'll tuck that guy in there, and I like the contrast of the different greens. Really pretty. And then this one is blending in too well with the pattern paper up here. It just looks, I don't know. Let's try the green one. I mean, they're both in there, but I feel like that stands out a little bit more, and I like it. So now we need something to go over this tag. I'm going to look through my stash and look for a sentiment sticker. I think I found the perfect sticker. It's the right size, it's the right color. It says joy, definitely a usable Christmas phrase. That is from, I'm doing this little game where I'm trying to add something from my stash just for fun to each layout, but this is the Home for Christmas. So while I pulled out the sticker sheet, I also realized I have a whole bunch of Christmas related embellishments here, and I pulled out these poinsettias. I have a thing where I love to have an element over the top of a cluster. So here I have the word Christmas, here I have the bow, and this one I'm kind of getting away with it because I've got the ornament over it, but over here it was kind of bothering me that I didn't have anything. So I thought, what about some of these poinsettias? And I do think that that looks pretty. And of course, if you have one, you got to have more. We can use some of the tinier ones, maybe up top. Let's try one of these little guys. I don't want to cover too much of that wreath because, it draws some red up to that corner also, but that does look pretty. What if we put some right here just for fun? I have not adhered these down yet. We can pull these out so they're coming from the flower itself. I do like that. That's really pretty. I have tons of stamps, poinsettia stamps, but these were already cut, so I might as well use them. I don't have a second big one, but they don't have to be matchy-matchy. And I can always cut more. There's definitely more. What if we did these two smaller ones over here? I'm liking it. This is looking good. I will not make you watch all the adhering process. I will definitely pause the camera and get everything glued down now that I am, happy with the placement of all my embellishments. Searching through my stash, I saw this one, and it's also from last season. I love this. The word December, I just really love how it goes down and is kind of jumbled together, and I thought that might look really cute here with the 24th. So I already went ahead and stamped that on a piece of paper because I need to kind of have it as my placeholder here, and I'll probably mat that on another circle. But this is going to tell me where I need to stamp my word December, and maybe right there. I thought I would try out my Mossy Meadow stamp pad for this here. So let me grab a block and adhere my stamp to a block. I am going to put the little piece of foam underneath there just to help me get a better impression. I did practice, showing you I practiced a few times on some scratch paper. So I'm going to move this all around my ink pad just to make sure I get good coverage. Just make sure I don't have any ink on the edge of my block. Line it up and then give it just a moment to press down, and looking good. Yes, I love it. I have always loved a traditional Christmas color palette, so I opted to bring in red because it makes me happy and it does look good with my photos. But what's fun about the green and gold collection is it's really just that. You have the greens and golds and creams, so it really opens itself up to bring in whatever accent color to complement your photos. Now this little tray of shimmery goodness is 100% a Julie made me do it product. In fact, I think she influenced the entire creative design team, and I may have been last to join the party, and they all said, "What took you so long?" So I'm just selecting a gold color to match my sprigs there. And what you want to do is add some water and give the water time to set. I actually paused the camera, stepped away, let that water mix in with the paint, and then it works better to splatter. So now I'm stirring it all up, and I'm going to bring in my all-purpose mat to protect my workspace and then mask off the areas of my layout that I do not want covered in gold flecks. Julie always makes splattering look so good. I am a little bit afraid of it, so I'm being very cautious and just putting a little bit on my brush and then just lightly tapping. I want this to look as if it's radiating out from the cluster area itself. So I will repeat the process on the bottom corner of the page. And I will also use the back side of my paintbrush to add just a few larger dots mixed in with that splatter. So you can kind of see the larger ones there are made from the edge of the paintbrush. So that's always another way you can add that fun gold paint too. Now I do have these little shimmery gems, so I'm going to add some of these as well for some texture and little variation in size and sparkle. And I don't know if you can see it, but I did add splatter to this left-hand side as well. And I'll hold it up here in a moment so you can appreciate those gold splatters. Just a few more finishing touches, and I would like to invite you to click the like button if you enjoyed this video and found it inspiring. It helps me out quite a bit here on YouTube, so thank you for doing that. And everything I have used to create today's project will be listed in the description box below, and you can, of course, see still shots over on my Instagram, Facebook, or Pinterest accounts. So do you see the gold splatter down there? It's just so shimmery and sparkly. I love it. So here we have mixed vellum, paint, cardstock, gold foil paper, and stamping to make our little cluster here. And I really love the way that turned out. I found an extra little sprig for my stash and I tucked that in above the tags. To see what the rest of the creative design team has for you, click this playlist here on the right. And if you're looking for more Christmas inspiration from me, you can check out the video here on the left. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon here on YouTube.